Welcome to Working and Wandering.
How you doing? I'm Chris.
And I'm Martha, and we're also a Venturesome couple.
And as you can see, if you're on YouTube, we got some guests here.
We do. We have a couple special guests. We have Brad and Jamie. And what is your RV mobile service called?
So our service is called Flow Mobile RV Services, and that stems off of we travel as missionaries as well, which is called Faith Living on Wheels. And we serve family life, weekend to remember marriage conferences, and we also teach Financial Peace University while we're on the road. We do it virtually and in person at different churches.
That is fantastic. You have found a direction that we have never seen. That's why we're having this conversation. But you know, when you are given a direction from the good Lord, that is what you follow, right? You do what you're told, or we all try to at least.
Yeah, very least.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your journey. How in the world did you just wake up one morning and be like, I'm selling everything?
Kind of.
It kind of did happen like that.
Yeah, it was I had in a moment.
So I'll try to do it as quick as possible in a short version of it. So in January 2019, we were on a trip with my motorcycle, and Jamie followed with the car, and we were going down to get tires for my motorcycle. At the time, we were working at the VA, and we're making good paychecks, and we had a lot of debt. I mean, a lot of debt. And so we got down there and said, that's enough. We got to stop doing things with debt. We got to stop doing things with credit cards. And we said, we're going to do this trip in cash. And when we got down there, we had planned it out, had enough cash for the new tires for the motorcycle. So we live in Tennessee, in north of Memphis, and we were heading down to Biloxi. That sounds crazy, but we love to give a certain business, all of our business when they're good, is a good family owned. Yeah. So we're down there to get tires for the motorcycle. And my son needed sneakers. And here we are making six figures. And we could not buy him sneakers in cash out of our bank account. All the bills were out. All the debt payments were out. The tires were paid for. The trip was paid for. And we said, that's it. I've had enough. And we got back home. And that's when I started getting back on board with Dave Ramsey and started following Financial Peace University. And then in 27 months, we paid off $196,000 in debt.
Wow, that is incredible. Congratulations.
I get chills every time I say it.
That's incredible.
We worked our tails off. We did tons of overtime.
Yeah.
At one time, so when we first got started, we thought it was going to take 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Well, God just really blessed our efforts. He really made it happen. And he smiled on us when we started handling his money his way.
Right.
And all of a sudden things started happening. We got pay raises. She got a new job because of it. She ended up in IT. So we're both now IT at the VA.
And that was during COVID. So I was a secretary in physical therapy, and I've always wanted to be in IT, and IT was what I did in the military. And I'd applied for VA IT 4 or 5 times, and no. And then COVID, there was a government grant that allowed them to pretty much a blanket.
It was a temporary position, and we were getting out of debt. That was terrifying.
Yeah, it was temporary. And so I asked him, can I please apply? Please. I so wanted IT. I liked my job, but it had a lot of downtime. And
I ran the numbers and I said, well, worst case scenario, we get out of debt 2 months later. So go ahead.
So I went ahead, applied. I got it. And I was able to supply the medical teams that had gone remote, getting out of the hospitals at that time, with equipment. So they still could take care of the vets.
Oh,
they still could do their job. And so I got to do that for a year and more than a year overall. But and that allowed me to also do overtime. So I wasn't able to before, and God smiled on us, and we were able to do overtime, a better job, and also increase our GS position. So it was really, really great.
So fast forward. So she got into that position full time. And so April 21 is when we got out of debt. And before that, she kept saying, so as we're working this plan, you try to bring it back farther, closer and closer. You're trying to get it done faster.
Right.
And I had worked all the numbers, and I said, the best I can see happening is August of 21. She's like, no, we're going to be out in April. I'm like, all right, I can't do it, but God can do it. I'm doing everything I can. And so he did it. Stuff happened. My military retirement came in, and things just started happening, and we got out. So we're like, okay, now what's next? And so with us, we do quarterly planning meetings as a marriage. We do annual planning meetings as a marriage. So January come along, and we had a full day meeting 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. This is what we're going to do with what God's blessed us with these income. We're going to give to missions this much. We're going to give out to other people this much. We're going to be able to max out our retirements and everything. Okay, great. That was January. February, we decided to sell the house. It literally changed that fast. We just suddenly we had no peace about what we had planned. And we said, okay, we got to be 100% debt free. And we thought we're just going to be debt free and then we'll build a house in cash.
Right.
Sold the house in February.
April. March, April. By the time we got to it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we sold the house and we thought, okay, well, we're going to buy some land and we're going to live in the RV and build in cash with this amazing paycheck. So everything went incredibly amazing selling the house. We got $15,000 over asking price. It was amazing. And then it all just went smooth. Then all of a sudden we got no. We just got denied. We offering on land cash. So it's just God slamming the door and just say, nope, that's not what I got for you. So the way he did it, it was like he took us one little step at a time. He knew that we couldn't handle the idea of going full-time on the road as missionaries, as doing what we're doing as mobile RV techs and everything that we're doing now. We had no idea what was coming. So it was just, okay, now he's like, okay, give us a nudge. Now I want you to do this. So then the what was called the CRSC, Combat Related Special Compensation, came in.
Right.
Like, oh, we can afford it now. And that was before we knew how much we were going to get. So then we decided to go ahead and tell our bosses we're leaving. Literally 2 days after we told them that, we got the numbers back where we're going to get. It's like, uh-oh, we're not getting enough.
Not quite.
Yeah.
So the Lord provided 3/4 of what we need for our on the road. And we decided the rest of it we're going to get with helping people.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go we had already learned about NRVTA, and we heard about that through Chad and Tara. We saw them go through it. And it's like, oh man, I could do that. I've been working on my own RV since 2017.
Right.
You know, the first warranty thing, it went in for a month. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm doing my own work because I'm able. And then once we got certified and got on the road with this, and it's been a blast. I mean, there's been those times where you're like, okay, where's the next, paycheck coming from? But it's so rewarding to help people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we love doing. We love helping people.
That is absolutely incredible.
That is.
What a transition to just go, I'm working my 9 to 5 and never mind, we're selling it. Let's roll.
Yeah, it was huge because I had just gotten my increase to go to 11 and I got my review, did well. And then they said, do you have anything to tell us? I was like, I knew we sold our house and I knew we were probably going to leave, but no, don't have anything to say. And went down and said, hey, got my review, did great. And they're like, but I didn't say that we were leaving. He's like, we need to come clean. We just couldn't sit still on not coming clean we need to be honest with our bosses. We like to perform well. We want to have integrity and do really well.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't sit on this, especially since we knew we were leaving within the month. And you know how you give your 2 week and they can sometimes really be bad. Yeah. But our supervisors were fantastic. We went in, said, hey, we're going to be leaving in the month. They're like, what? Why? Because God told us to. Okay.
That could be hard for people to understand, right? Yes. Not everybody is faith-based. And so that could be you can run into a lot of issues there.
We were blessed with good supervisors. And we did get some odd looks for sure.
Yeah, especially my own family.
Well, isn't it funny how that works? Usually they're the ones that are like, you're nuts. You're going to do what?
Yeah. My dad has a favorite phrase. He always says, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Okay. Just checking. Just making sure. Are you sure? I'm like, yes, sir. We're sure. Okay, let's go.
So you sell everything, you hit the road, and truly living on faith at that point because you don't have the money to pay your bills. You're like, okay, I don't know where the next thing is going to come from. And you said NRVTA. Mm-hmm. How's that experience been as basically a full-time RVer and a mobile tech?
Oh,
that was fun.
Why don't you go with this one?
Okay, I got to say, we left our jobs in June. We knew they were applying for the veterans
the GI Bill?
Yes, the GI Bill. They hadn't got it yet. And we're like, well, when do we start losing money because we didn't go ahead and start the job versus...
we're living off savings at that time.
Right.
This house paid for a lot of our savings. And so we're like, well, if they haven't come through by September, August, September, let's just do it anyways. So we called over to the school and they said, well, it's in the works, but we'll go ahead. So September, we started the date and we're like, well, if we're supposed to have it, God will come through. And we just continued on as if he's going to do it. And we'd get updates where it was going to be a 2-year process and they were already a year in. So we knew it was going to be close. And we just held on to faith and kept praying about it, said, we'll do it anyways. We had set money aside. So we had money already saved up. Being Dave Ramsey people, we did it in cash, of course.
Right.
So we're like, it's all saved up. It's going to hurt, but we can do it. And then 2 weeks out, we're heading towards Athens.
We've already paid for class.
We've paid for class. It's there. We're going for it. The RV park is paid for. Going down there. Was it Stephanie that called us?
Stephanie. Yep.
Stephanie called us. Hey, we got approved. We're like, really? Yeah, we're going to start processing your payment, your paperwork for VA paperwork.
Wow.
Let me jump in there. So Stephanie's amazing. That would be Todd's wife.
Yes.
She's awesome. So we got down there and she immediately found us when we got to school. So we're the first veteran to go through with the GI Bill.
Oh, wow.
So this isn't a testament to how awesome the NRVTA staff is. So we got there, and anybody that's out there that's veterans, they know it's a lot of paperwork and it's a pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and they're not veterans, so they didn't know what they were getting into. They didn't know all the paperwork. Within 1 week, they had my refund coming back from class because they had gotten approved. They got the money through the VA, and I'm the first one. So I'm like, they're doing great with all the rest of the veterans. If I was the learning one, but it was awesome. And the NRVTA, I mean, if anybody out there is thinking about going to NRVTA, you need to go. I mean, because even if you just want to learn about your own rig, the teachers there, the instructors, even the TAs, everybody there is absolutely amazing. And one of the classes, I'm trying to remember his name. I believe Terry is the name. He's the instructor for refrigerators.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got mad.
You didn't like the pile of parts?
Well, I was like, oh, that's fine. Well, they teach you well. He did a good job this is like in 2 days, he brain dumps into you of, okay, this is how the flow goes. This is how everything in the NRVTA is follow the flow, which is kind of funny because our name is Flow.
Right.
So follow the flow. So he walked us through everything of how to build a fridge. So in NRVTA, one of the things, maybe I shouldn't tell too much because you just need to know when you get there. But
don't give away the torture. Right?
Exactly.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, you get to the point where you can build a refrigerator, everything on the backside of that thing within minutes.
That's incredible.
But, yeah, I went through like 7 bad boards.
Oh no.
And I was done. And I had a wonderful TA. He said, pick that one. Really? Should I just do it one more time? Okay.
One more time.
But the experience was amazing. Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah, we've enjoyed, we both took the fundamentals class with the Alliance group a couple years ago, and we even took the registered RV tech exam the next day.
Yeah.
With us, there was about 100 of us, and I think 90 of us were Alliance RV owners. It was the first one. And the next day on Saturday, that one you have to pay extra to take that test, it's not open book.
No,
I mean, you guys know that.
Yeah.
There's about 25 more questions, and you get a blank piece of paper and a little study course about 4 hours.
Yep.
And Brian is excellent to help you through those little extras.
Yes.
To get you prepped. And it was difficult. I was so messed up because for my history, the last 2 things that I really tried to accomplish, I failed. So to get in there, I couldn't remember some of the questions. Like, take a deep breath. I can do this. And then when I passed, and I did well, I passed with an A. I'm an A student.
She came home looking like she was high and drunk at the same time.
It was such a wonderful thing. Wonderful day.
Right.
And it took like 2 days to come off that high. And I was like, I got to calm down. I got to be able to sleep tonight. And it was just being a success. And they're like, yes, we want you to succeed. So the school is excellent.
Yeah. They are. Me, like Chris, he took the test. I don't know, like he was a speed tester. He was like, and then he's like, he turns it in. Here's your A. I'm like one of the last ones to turn it in. I'm so stressed out. People already starting to eat. Someone's behind me crunching on potato chips, and I'm over here just dying.
Yeah.
And By the time I go turn in my test, I'm bawling.
Yes.
There's
She was in
17 of
tears.
us. There was only 17 of us in the little red schoolhouse, and I was the only female. And I'm like,
Oh, man.
so much pressure. And it's not the pressure from the NRVTA because they've all been fantastic. It was the pressure I put on myself. It's like I had 2 purple monkeys on my shoulders.
Definitely.
So,
The purple monkey.
and then Chris walks in and he's like, "Oh, baby." He saw me crying. He's like, "Did you fail?" And because we had been studying all week and everything, doing extra tests, like labs and stuff afterwards. And I was like, "No, I'm just turning my exam in." And he was like, "Oh, honey." So he grabbed my lunch. He grabbed my lunch. We walked outside, and then they came over and they were like, grabbed my hands and everything. And they're like, "Sweetheart," because they treat you like family there.
Yeah.
They were like, "You passed." And I was like,
Yes.
really?
Now she starts crying harder.
Oh yeah, it was exactly.
Yeah.
But it that feeling, that high of accomplishment, especially like in a male dominant area,
Right.
it felt so good to you know. And
it was
I can relate to that.
fantastic. The camaraderie of your classmates.
Mhm.
Because I did take a 5-week break. So my classmates went on to inspector school. And I waited for him to do inspector school. So all my classmates I'd see inspecting rigs and stuff like, "So how's it going?" It's like, "It's hot up here." Okay, I'll be there in 5 weeks. So it was a blast. Family, definitely
Yes.
family.
Yeah. So did you guys both do inspector and tech, or which?
So I did both tech and inspector, and I did solar generator. Todd's an amazing teacher on solar. If we get a chance to go into that a little bit more, but he's a good teacher. I knew a lot about electronics and everything, and he taught me what I did wrong. Yeah, she did register tech, and we both got certified as inspectors. Yep,
fantastic.
I'm his helper on the tech side, and inspectors I do inside, he does outside. So
nice. You get through it way quicker.
We
Make sure
hope.
8-hour day in 4 hours.
It's
I
still
wish
8.
it's still 8 because we're very thorough.
Well, you have to be, right?
Yes.
I mean,
we don't want to miss anything.
There's
Exactly.
inspectors that have multiple under their belt and they can do it in a shorter time.
Yep.
But the more we practice, the more we can do it. And we just want to be thorough to give the customer the best. Hello, this is the RV. Welcome to it. You haven't seen it, but welcome to it. And then they can make the decision. Yes, these are the risks I can take, or this rig is not for me. It's up to them to make the decision.
that's
Empower
fantastic.
them to make that choice.
That makes perfect sense too.
It does.
Then you have the flexibility in your business. You can do either or. I know that there's you guys don't cross lanes on that. If you inspect it, you don't tech it, right?
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a no.
And we've already had people like, "What do you mean you can't?" I was like, in 12 months, I can work on it. No problem.
13 months.
Right.
So I'm like, if you want me to work on it, then get another inspector and then I'll work on it for you.
Right. So let's rewind just a little. So back to where you guys first started. You're sitting at the VA. You have your house. Where did the idea of going full-time come from? And I'm going to caveat that because I tried to convince Mrs. Peters to go full-time back in, what was it, 17?
19.
And it was, what the bleep are you thinking? I'm not living in a trailer.
It was a lovely conversation.
No, it wasn't. It was a nope.
For perspective, we're in Alaska, and people don't really full time up there. It's too cool.
No.
It is too cool.
Not if you got a brain. You need, when you're RVing, leave. Find
or
somebody
just
else.
2 months out of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did that come about in your guys' world?
Honestly, okay. So it actually all started when we bought our RV in 2017. It was our last biggest debt that we got into. I mean, in 1 year, we got like 4 debts. We got a truck, a tractor. I was running a landscape company at the time. So we got truck, tractor, mower, house, and an RV in 1 year.
Right.
People are like, "Holy crap, did you guys win the lottery?" No,
No.
we're just affording the payments.
Right. Exactly.
So after we got the RV, I'm like, and how the heck do I hook this dang thing up? Now, we grew up in our marriage from day one. We got married and met and married in the Air Force over in Aviano, Italy. And we can talk about that later, but that's a bomb drill. So I was like, okay, how do you work this thing? I didn't know anything about RVs. I didn't know anything about how to hook up. The worst thing was, how do you hook up this dang stinky slinky? Let's get down to it. That's the one part nobody likes. That's the worst part of RVing. But actually, now that I've been in it for all these years, it's no big deal. It's
the
nothing.
stinky side of the slinky isn't the bad one. It's the freaking gray tank. That's what stinks.
It can be, unless you're using Matt's RV Reviews liquid liquefied.
Right?
That stuff works.
We're not sponsored by him, but
no, we're not. But
shout out, Matt. It does work.
I started using it, and honestly, for years I've used Unique, and I changed over to liquefied like literally a month ago. holy cow.
Yeah, it's way better.
It is different.
We're good friends with Matt, and we're like, we love your poo juice.
That's what we call it.
That's poo juice.
That works.
I love it.
Yeah.
So actually, so we first got the RV, and I'm trying to figure out how to hook it up. So this is how we met KYD.
Okay.
We've never met him in person. We'd love to. But so they got their first trailer in 2017.
Yeah.
And they had that video of RVing for newbies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Trish is sitting there with like some wrenches in her hand and everything. I'm like, oh, cool. So I watched the whole thing and watch it like 4 times to study it and make sure I do it right the first time. And then we went on our first maiden voyage. Okay, this is what you should never do. Do not take your parents on your maiden voyage.
That's like taking your parents on your honeymoon. Come on now.
Yeah, that's exactly what
they're going to sit there and judge you.
But it went better than you would expect. We did well, and we had got the RV all set up, and our neighbor was like, he was watching us. I mean, RVers, y'all watch each other.
Yeah.
We might
Judge.
we observe.
Y'all sit there at your dinner table, looking through that window, just like, oh, he's gonna get it. Did he hook that up right?
Chris is like, hurry up, let's grab Callie, take her for a quick walk around the trailer.
Exactly. Oh, he's got a Rottweiler. Never mind, we'll leave him alone.
So anyway, yeah, we set it all up, and I don't remember what I did. I made some small little mistake, and the guy, our neighbor, was like, "So are you guys been doing this a while? Or are you newbies?" Like he was like a little confused. He was like, "Actually, this is our very first trip."
Right.
Like, man, you would have had me fooled until you did. I don't know what I did. I don't remember what it was, but something I forgot. But anyway, so after that first trip, we were hooked. We just loved it. Even though we went with my parents on our first trip. And so we slept on the couch and my parents got the bedroom. And then we said, you know what? The bug is lit. We want to go full time someday.
Yeah.
Someday.
Like 20, 30 years someday.
Yeah. Like someday when we can finally get out of debt, which we thought was impossible at the time.
Right.
So that's kind of where it all started. Right
That's
then and there,
awesome.
the very first trip. And then every trip we'd go on for like a weekend or a week. And then we'd get back to the house. We had a big, huge, like 3,600 square foot house, 5 acres, beautiful place. We get home and the kids were like, all right, can we leave again?
Right.
They didn't even want to be home.
They loved it at the time.
Right.
So how many kids do you have?
We have 2. Michaela, she's 18, and Elisha's 16. They've been traveling with us ever since we got it, and they go with the swings like we do. They love it sometimes, they hate it.
Right.
It was the hardest when they had to give up high school.
Thank you for saying that. Seriously, you don't know how important that is, because we just did a video podcast about like, is full-time RV life for you? And talking about just the emotional effects, the loneliness. And there's days that I'm like ready to light a match and burn it to the ground.
I agree.
But too many people glamorize it. So thank you for being real about it.
It is not roses.
It's not.
There's a lot of lows.
You go through a roller coaster of emotions in one single day.
Oh, yeah.
On the best day, you can
Up,
have
down,
the
up, down,
lowest
4 times.
time. And you're like, what's wrong with me? It's just part of it. It's like what you would deal with in a house, but in, I don't know, exponential.
Yeah.
And set in shorter time frame. Because you don't have a room or a place that you can storm off to cool off.
Yeah.
Or celebrate in your living room. You can't dance with your husband or wife and celebrate something. You might shake the whole place. So there's gives and takes that you're trapped in a small box versus a house. Regardless of your house size, you still have that limiting factor that you have to learn how to deal with. And sometimes you don't do well with coping that day.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
I've had a lot of nights of 10 o'clock at night staring at the stars, just praying, Lord, why am I here?
Right.
I mean,
where are we
I'm
going
going to be
with this?
real. Look, it's not easy.
No. Yeah.
But is it worth it? Absolutely.
Right.
If you can push through the hard, it's worth it.
And if it's not for you, acknowledge it.
Yep.
You
Right.
can't do
It's
what
not
your
for
neighbor
everyone.
did. Okay, go back to what you have to pursue, if possible, what you absolutely love. And if RVing is something your neighbor's doing, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you love it, but maybe on the weekends.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to adjust. Okay, I can't do it like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You got to do it according to what can the Jones do.
Yeah.
Right.
They tried to kill each other. So I don't think we're going to do that.
Yeah, they did try to kill us. That's a
They
pretty
were
good
also
movie.
assassins. So.
Yeah, I don't think that's part of what RV tech is, right?
I hope not.
That would be a complete opposite of a missionary.
Definitely.
A whole nother definition thereof.
Yes. We have no guns secreted away.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. No bomb shelters in the RV.
No.
Nah. Well, I mean, you do have lithium batteries. That counts, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do wish that I knew about Todd before I got mine. I still love what I have. They are very good. But,
yeah.
And I won't say what they are.
All right. So the flow, where did that come from? Like, I love your guys' name. It's a great play on words, but where?
It literally, without sounding totally like crazy, I really believe God dropped it in my brain.
Okay.
So we were getting close. We'd already been talking like, hey, we want to go full time. We want to go full time, but we got to be out of debt for so it was kind of like already an idea.
Right.
Before we just up and decided to sell the house and go. And I'm driving down 51 down from at the time we were living in Stroud we were living in Tennessee. So I was heading down to Memphis, down to the VA. And probably 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, we had a shared note on Google. And so the kids and Jamie and I were all like coming up with ideas because we originally were going to do a channel. And we figured out real quick. No, thank you. You guys do amazing. Not for us. It's a lot of work. Yeah. It is a lot of work, a lot of editing. So we originally were trying to plan up a name for a channel. We wanted to have a faith-based channel and share our faith journey while we're traveling, what it's like, and who we got to share our testimonies with and everything. And that didn't happen. But anyway, so I'm literally just driving south, and all of a sudden it just dropped in my brain. Faith living on wheels. Okay. And I sent it to the family, like, yes.
That's awesome.
And then my daughter, she designed it.
Oh, that's so cool.
She designed the whole thing on CapCut.
Right.
Nice.
And I wish we could like input picture of truck. So when she saw that truck come home after it got wrapped, she just like almost broke down. She's like, it was never supposed to come to this. It was just fiddling around with CapCut. She's overwhelmed. But she did an amazing job.
Yeah, she did amazing. And she's an artist. And she does good work. Nothing big, just her own doodles are so
her
good.
Doodles are like way better than I think a lot of artists that I've seen. Yeah. She's amazing.
She's good. She's very humble about it, but she does really good work. And she's surprised how far it's gone. We're like, yeah, this is you.
Right.
Okay. Doesn't know what to do with it.
Chase your talents, whatever they are, enjoy them, right?
So literally, it came from the Holy Spirit. Just dropped into my brain.
And then when we were at school, we're taught to follow the flow of electricity, of water, of whatever. We're like, oh, isn't that interesting? We're following the flow. And here we have faith living on wheels. Yeah. And we just morphed the faith living on wheels for our business. And then with our missionary, we do
faith living on wheels, flowing in the Spirit.
Flowing in the Spirit. Thank you. I was like, blank.
Well, yeah, that happens.
But flowing in the Spirit, because we sometimes don't know what we're going to be doing, especially before we became techs. Even now, we didn't know where we were heading. We still don't. Well, true, but we know we're going up the East Coast right now. We know we're doing something, and we're like, okay, but the stops we don't know who we're going to meet, what we're going to do, what situations we're going to deal with. We don't know. And before we left Branson, we didn't know we were going to be there for a month to do XYZ or do this or do that. We knew we were coming here, but outside of that, we really don't know, but we don't want to know in some ways. We want to follow God's direction, whatever it is. And that's scary sometimes. He was telling me we've got reservations at our next stop. I'm like, oh, good. I can relax a little bit.
So I'm the planner of the family.
Nice.
And I plan out like every single stop. I use RV Trip Wizard, which is awesome.
We agree.
I try to tell everybody, you've got to use it. I used to use Google and try to like use the maps and then plan it all out and then save it. They only let you go to like 10 stops and you're done. RV Trip Wizard, you can go infinite number of stops. So you can plan out your whole route. So anyway, I'll have every stop. I'll have every rest stop. We stop every hour and 20 minutes to the T.
That's awesome.
Check on everything, take a break. And I'll have every fuel stop planned. So I'm a huge planner. I'll have every RV park planned. I know exactly how much we're going to spend on every park. So I said, hun, I feel like after RV Unplugged, let's just not have any plan. Scary.
Right. Especially if you're a planner. For Martha and I, that's called Tuesday.
Yes.
Because we used to plan. We used to be like really regimented. I'd be like, okay, this is what we're doing for the next 12 months RVing. And 99.99999% of them just gone. Never got there.
Because when we did full time, when we left Alaska a little over 3 years ago, everything was written in a paper book, and we did the Google Maps and like all that, and like even the miles, we're trying to like journal it because you see it on other channels. Like, here's our route, here, like everything, even all our gas stops. We were doing that. After a while, I don't even know where that book is right now.
That's a lot of work.
It's a ton of work trying to do
it,
especially when a lot of the data is built in. I'm like, it's not that hard with TripWizard, but we weren't using that at the time. Now, like, put in the gas prices and boom, done. How much you paying for night? It's all tracked. It's so much easier for us.
Yep.
And then Chris and I, like, we can plan the perfect like trips and routes and all that, and then things pop up. So we have like multiple different routes and options just in case.
That's awesome.
What I like about TripWizard, and this isn't a no promo for TripWizard, but it does work. It's great. Is we could take like I get a lot of work trips, so we get stuck out in California a lot. So I just stick in our hotel stays. I'm like, all right, I got to go to California. Put the hotel in there. So you can put the hotels in there. So when you look back at like, okay, what did I do this summer? Where did I go? Well, we RV'd. We went to California. We RV'd. We went to California. Back to Indiana. To California. Indiana. California.
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah, because we got a California trip coming up.
Week and a half.
Yeah, week and a half.
Again.
Wow.
Again.
Another one.
Again.
I've never been. Well, I've been in California, but it doesn't count because I don't remember from jet lag.
It's worth going to. Fuels costs are expensive, but it is a beautiful state. Yeah.
We have not made it out west. We have yet to make it past Oklahoma.
So if you want to stay somewhere like in Southern California, but like near Huntington Beach and Anaheim and all that, Seal Beach.
Seal Beach.
Yeah. The Navy base.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's gorgeous. Free laundry mat.
Yeah. Like a month. I don't remember exactly what it was for a month, but it was like $650 for a month, which is crazy when you're getting free laundry and everything. And you're right across the street from the beach.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
You're like 10 minutes from the Huntington Beach Pier. It's crazy. It's like that would be $250 a night at any of the other local parks. So
nice.
Wow.
It's worth going to. But yeah, go west.
Commissary.
It's awesome.
Military bases
Hopefully
are worth
soon.
it.
Oh yeah.
Key West has a little commissary too, but it was worth being there.
Oh, yeah.
Sixby is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was cool.
We will be going back again this year. Don't know exact dates, but it is going to happen. But that's the whole point of
we'll join you.
That's the point of having solar.
Yes.
Because dry camp, you can get in any time with the dry camp.
Yes.
A lot of people are like, I only want hookups. I'm like, I got them.
I don't need them. What do I need them for?
I got power. I'm good.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to take off and say, okay, I'm going to kind of follow your guys' journey in the sense that they're going to give up their house, they want to go full-time RVing, is being an NRVTA certified tech and inspector something that you think could be a full-time living?
Yes. But you've got to work at it. You've got to work for it. We have definitely noticed that if you're traveling too fast, it is hard to get work. Now, of course, you come to a rally like RV Unplugged, you're going to become ridiculously busy.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Guilty.
That's it. Well, we met him at the show, and I was like, "Hey, you do solar? Guess what? I do too, but I need a second set of hands to tear this apart because I got one day to get this done."
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we've met a lot of awesome people at the rally. So the RV Unplugged was our first rally this year.
Yeah.
Of course, we're trying to get on season 3.
Hook them up, Todd and Tony. They're good people.
Actually, Phil and
they
Stacey.
can be on camera. Huh? That's true. Stacy and Phil are actually. Stacy is the casting agent.
She is the gatekeeper.
She is.
So, I mean, we had a great time. That's our first rally. We met awesome people and probably met a lot of friends for life. There's a few couples that we met that they want to go to Alaska with us next year. That's like the dream.
Right.
But you need a lot of money to go to Alaska.
It's only 10,000 miles from here round trip. No big deal. Let's roll.
It's only like $5,000 in fuel.
No, but no, sorry. By the time you're done, 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to be 10 because you're going to go through Canada and you're going to pay $7 to $8 a gallon because it's based on liter.
Yes.
And DEF isn't any cheaper.
But
and you get about a mile per gallon going through the mountains. The Rockies are brutal.
Right.
Yeah. So expect 10 grand for fuel.
Speaking
from experience,
we still want to go.
But
it's worth doing.
It's still on the
beautiful.
bucket list. It is.
It is worth doing 100%.
I'm super biased.
But
Yes.
so with us being mobile techs, we're hoping that as we travel out there, we can help people.
Right.
So we love helping people. And even while we were going through the school and we were meeting, hanging out with our other classmates and everything, and we'd hear certain tick words or buzzwords or whatnot, and we'd tell them, because I've ran a business for many years before this, I grew up in a family where my father ran his own business for over 30 years. I've been around customer service.
Right.
You take care of the customer, they're going to take care of you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And do not go after it as a paycheck. Don't go after it as I'm going out here to make this money.
Right.
We are in it to help people. We saw a need. We saw the constant drumbeat happening of there's over 1,000 RVs to a tech, that people are waiting 3 to 6 months to get their RV work done. And we're like, that's ridiculous. We want to help somebody.
Yeah.
And then what we get after we help them and save the vacation, we get certificates of appreciation.
Hopefully with lots of Benjamins on it, right? Hey, you know what? You pay for what you get, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a shade tree mechanic that hasn't been to school, may the odds be in your favor.
And we've actually had to fix things that we've had dealership issues. We worked on an Alliance FamAlly recently when we were down. Actually, we were in Tennessee when we did that.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Be careful. A dealership may really mess up your RV. It was a brand new Valor.
Oh no.
We had to
Oh, man.
rewire some electrical stuff, left a wire, high voltage wire just hanging out inside the wall, not even hooked up. And it was just like, wow.
Burn it to the ground, huh?
I mean,
wow.
we had to take a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But
Yeah.
that's our thing. We are integrity. We want to do it right the first time.
Yeah.
And we'll make it right if we goof up, or we'll honestly say we don't know this
Yep.
part, but if you're willing to let us learn,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
we'll get it right and make it right as
Yeah.
much as we can.
And that's
Yeah.
how I run the business. If I don't know what I'm working on, I'm not going to charge you. Like, let's just say it takes me 8 hours to fix something that I didn't like, especially these Class A's. Oh my gosh, they are scary.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm learning a lot more about them. I
Mm-hmm.
don't shy away from a challenge.
Right.
I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah.
So if it takes me 4 to 8 hours to work on something that should have taken 2 hours, I'm not going to charge you all that time.
Right.
I'll charge you for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's operating with integrity,
Mhm.
right? Because you could bill by the second,
Yep.
or you can do right by your customers, and that's where the reputation comes
Yep.
from. Because one thing we've learned about the RV community is it's big, but it's really small. And
Yeah.
everybody
Yes.
knows somebody.
They will
Yes.
talk.
Oh, 100%.
We will
yes.
talk.
Well,
we are RVers. We talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that happens with the manufacturers. And we see that there's certain brands right now that are struggling with some of their frame
Mhm.
issues. And
Mhm.
man, once they start talking, it hits their bottom line really hard.
It's like a
And-
domino effect.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I mean that's why I'm not saying what it is, because I don't want to be detrimental to somebody's
Right.
business.
Mhm.
And
Right.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning. In my world in HR, I say nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what, today I'm going to screw absolutely everything up on purpose.
No.
Right? Nobody comes out with that intent.
We're human. We make mistakes.
We make
Right.
mistakes.
Or it's a small percentage.
There's some wicked.
There
I
is.
guess that's why HR exists, because there is some people. Don't be that guy.
You got to remember, I was a behavioral health care recruiter for Alaska Native Hospital, so
Right.
I've seen things.
You've
Yeah.
seen the good and the bad.
That's
Yeah.
the 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1%. So you're saying there's a chance.
Oh gosh, terrible. So what like of all the things that you learn, right? There's so much you learn in the NRVTA. What drew you into solar?
Well, it's interesting how your life kind of turns out sometimes. So when I first got into the military, I went in as EOD. That's all I can say about that.
Okay,
You know
does
what
it
that
stand
is, y'all.
for?
He plays with bombs. He's like, here, put on the State Puff Marshmallow Man suit. Go play with that IED.
But you know what? That's the safest job in the military. Lowest rate of
Well, you have your control of
casualties.
everything, right? You
Yeah.
control your own
Oh, yeah.
destiny on that
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it on safety. So I went into that, and
Hold on a second.
I'll retract the awning.
No, the cool thing is this is all can be edited. Give me a second.
okay, we're pausing.
Are we getting dark?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're getting dark.
That's why we monitor everything, stuff like that.
You need to be able to push a button and put the awning in.
I only knew a mobile tech.
I think I know one of those.
But you know what? At least being able to do it right here.
Yeah, get that on video. He's putting the awning in outside
That's nice.
with a button, not with these. I won't say what the command is called.
Not an iPad.
There you go.
Not a touch screen.
Yeah.
No, it's nice. So
Yep.
what you can't hear is Chris said when we first saw the Deltas, we fell in love with this feature because that's one of their newer ones they added just a year ago, that you're able to retract the awnings and put the awnings outside
Yep.
from the bay. And we can also control the slide. We can take the slide and open on each side.
That's so nice.
From the bay.
Mm-hmm.
We still go in and check things.
Sure.
But just to make sure that something didn't fall.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would have been our
got
fault.
jarred open.
But that's huge right there. And
That's
what's
cool.
huge is, I don't know if any RV manufacturers are listening right now. Please keep buttons. We want physical toggle switches. I don't care if there's technology. Technology is great,
Yes.
but it
So
sucks.
it's not.
Exactly. I'm IT. It breaks all the time.
Yeah.
So leave a button that we can push.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what Chris and I, we prefer the switches, the buttons.
Yep.
Those something easily fix.
So sorry, you had
Where
to
were
stop. We were running out of daylight. So here you said again, bomb squad.
Oh, that's where I was.
EOD.
That's where I
Yeah.
was.
How
So
did-
we were. How did I
explain-
get into solar?
Yeah, how did bombs go into lithium?
Field, but so
I don't know.
relevant.
Lithium can be a bomb if you put a screw through it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I was getting at the fact that it's amazing how your life can be directed.
Right.
The Lord directs our paths. We plan our ways, but He directs our paths. So from day one, and I wasn't a Christian when I went into the military. I got saved while I was in basic training. So I was learning as I went. So anyway, I ended up not liking that job.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little too much for me. I mean, it's just, you really got to enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's high stress at all times.
Yes. So I ended up just quitting that, and they ended up giving me electrical power production.
Oh, awesome.
And that's basically, you work on generators in the Air Force, and you also catch planes on the flight line. What a weird,
Combination.
to this day, I'm like, I work on generators and I catch airplanes.
Right.
That's a weird. But anyway, so obviously that is all about power. I'm making power. I'm transporting it everywhere, and so I learned advanced troubleshooting electronics. I learned
Gotcha.
how power is created. I mean, all power is created from alternator, no matter whether it's solar.
Right.
Solar is just a different type of alternator. But it's still the same thing. And then what to do with it afterwards. So I did that for over 10 years. And then once I got out, did some other things, did some other things. And at first, how did I really get into solar? It just kind of happened.
We had an RV first. That helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you see it out
It
there,
was the
and you're like,
prospect of not having a loud generator and still having power to
There you
run
go.
the coffee in the morning.
there,
That's
That
keeping
was
it
it.
simple right there.
That was
That's-
coffee. It was all about coffee. Without coffee, we don't operate. So
You are on the same wavelength as Martha.
you and I are the same. We're cut from the same coffee.
Yep.
I don't care what kind it is, as long as there's
Same
coffee.
bean.
The
There
same
you
coffee
go.
bean.
Yeah. That's,
Actually, you know what? I never thought about solar as being useful until I saw certain individuals. I'll name them again, Chad and Tara.
right.
I saw him with Victron.
Yeah.
So Victron changed the game when it came to solar in the RV space.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other brands out there, but I'm sorry. As a tech and as an installer, I refuse to install anything but Victron. It is amazing what it can do.
Yeah.
So when I saw what it could do, I was like, ooh, we like to boondock.
He likes to boondock.
Are you a glamper?
If preferably, yes, I can do it, but I don't prefer the military showers having to protect that water
Right.
support.
She
Yeah.
just
So
wants
there's four of
power.
us. So I like my long showers. Our son likes the long showers. You can't do that when you're boondocking.
Yeah.
He'll
Unless
drain
maybe
a well.
one. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Thankfully, we only have a 6-gallon tank. So when it's hot and it's gone, especially in the winter, it's gone.
Right.
They
So
quit.
that does limit it. So, but military showers are when we boondock. So I don't prefer it.
Gotcha.
I'm a queen. Hello, queen.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, she's a sewer queen.
What?
Because if we had power, we got solar. We got power. We got everything else. As long as we got water and a way to get rid of it.
Yeah.
He is correct then.
Yeah.
I'm a
Tanks
sewer
get you.
queen.
Yeah.
Tanks get
It's
you
the
all
tanks.
the time.
Yeah.
It's the tanks. Of course, we
Yeah.
got one of those honey wagons.
Well, us too.
Yeah.
That helps,
Yeah.
but it's a chore.
It is a lot of work.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it was. I saw that the Victron could really change our lives. And then I immediately said, we're going to get that one day.
That's awesome.
And then we finally did. Actually, it was right after we launched, when we left our jobs to go full time. We took a portion of our sale, a portion of the money that we had saved up, and we dropped probably We won't talk about how much. Solar's expensive. Get
Yes,
a
it
quote.
We did say
Get a
Victron.
quote and sleep on it. It's
Twice.
It's some money, but so we spent some money on solar,
Yeah.
and we were on our way up to New York to visit my parents at the time, and we shipped it all up there. So I did my very first install on solar with just the knowledge I have from the military, the knowledge that I have from advanced troubleshooting and electronics and how power works, and of course I watched some solar videos on it, and it worked. I mean, it went in, it went good, and I learned what doesn't work.
Yeah.
I learned that don't ever use an A&L fuse because they burn up. They don't like to have a lot of amp going through them.
Yeah.
And then finally, when I got the mega fuse, that problem went away. So there was things that, I learned. But yeah, that's where it started.
That's awesome. So what's the next iteration of Flow? Where are you guys going from here? I mean, you said East Coast, but and you have no plans. So how does that work?
I love how, is it Stacy that says it all the time? Of you get your big nuggets of where you want to hit, and then you fill it in as you go.
Yep, that's how we roll.
So we've decided this time there's no reservations at this time, other than we know we're supposed to be on Sunday. Well, actually, there's no reservations. We're going to go to Cape Canaveral. Never been out there, and there is no reservations there. Since we're military, we can go stay on the base. So it's first come, first serve.
Nice.
So after that, we do have reservations for one week up at North Beach, up in St. Augustine. So the main things was we want to hit St. Augustine. We want to hit the Outer Banks, stay out there a little bit. Because we visited that for like a 3-day weekend, and that was way too fast.
Right.
We were living and working up there in North Carolina, checked it out, too fast. So we're going to spend about a week up and through there, and then the next place we want to hit is Osteteague Island.
There you go.
So the first time we did Osteteague Island, that was right after I did that first solar install. And we found out how much I didn't do right. I mean, I'll admit my mistakes, but I learned from them. And now the installs that I've done and my system that I have now, it is a beast. It does what I tell it to do.
Yeah. That's
within
awesome.
its limits. They have limits.
Mhm.
That's the thing. People don't realize solar is not infinite. It's not,
Nope.
It can't do everything.
That is correct.
Now,
So-
was it an adjustment for you and the kids, like learning the solar
Yes.
power management?
Yes. Especially initially, like if there's an AC going, make sure the microwave isn't going. Or
Right.
if you hear noise, which is constant, don't put anything extra on. Now the system is different, so we can run one AC in the microwave.
When the sun is shining.
When the sun is shining. We just have to be conscious of it, and sometimes we just aren't. You
Right.
just want to flip a switch. Our biggest snag even now is we'll be used to pedestal so we can throw on the electric heat.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on boondocking and you're on your batteries, you can't hit that electric heat. You got to do gas.
Right.
And we have separate toggles for it. So sometimes we'll suddenly overload, and it's because somebody flipped that switch, and we're like, can't do that. And we'll all get jumped on from each other or ourselves. We're like, we know that, but we forgot.
Right.
So it's and even like, what was I doing? We were on 30 amp. We dumbed down for 30 amp, and both ACs were going. And I threw the microwave on, and everything shut down.
Everything
I was
got
like,
bad.
She's like, I quit.
I forgot that we dumbed it down because the system can dumb down.
Right.
Well,
So you can.
when she means dumb down, she means that you lower your amp draw.
Right. Change the input.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if you're being metered. Some
Yeah.
RV parks meter you.
Yeah.
So we try to take as least we can, especially if we have the solar and have open sky.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
And we'll just take the least. Keep
Yeah.
that bill low.
So
as
for
much as
those of
possible.
those out there that know somewhat about solar, so she keeps saying that she can't turn on the microwave and the
Getting dark.
AC. So that's because we only have one inverter. A lot of guys out there, they're showing the pictures. They've got dual inverters. I'd love to have that, but my trailer, I'm already overloaded. I know it.
At least you own it.
I own it. I know that it's overloaded. I've upgraded everything. The last thing that is there is the frame, so it's holding up.
Right.
But that's why, I don't have dual inverters. And once you get dual inverters, then you can run 2 large items.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, when you're out there in full sun, and we've got 3470, I think is the total. I always forget the actual number. I wish it was an even number, but I got over 3,400 watts with our deployables out. So when that sun is out, you can run more. That's what I love about the Victron is the power share. Is it takes everything. It takes the solar. It takes what you might have, like say you're mooch docking and you only have 15 amps coming from your friend.
Right.
And then if you still need more juice, it'll take it from the batteries. So it's amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Definitely, we've had different brands. Won't do that again. So where can our audience and our tribe find you if they want solar, tech work, inspector work?
Sure. So we are at Flow. I wish I did this differently. It's flow-mobilervservices.com. On Facebook, it's just Flow Mobile RV Services. And our mission page, if you want to follow what we're doing with family life and where we're serving, that is Faith Living on Wheels.
That is fantastic.
That's awesome.
So we're going to put them to test tomorrow, aren't we?
Yes, we are, and
Looking
we're going to
forward to
record it.
We are. So yeah, we of course hit it off really well during the RV Unplugged rally, and we started nerding out, as Martha loves to call it, on solar.
Yeah.
And I was talking about needing to do a DC to DC charger on our system because we only have 1,600 watts on the roof, which basically means 800.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah, and so I was like, I need more juice to be able to run the ACs for longer, and you guys showed us what you have in your truck and the way it was set up. And I was like, that's what I want. So guess what? Santa Amazon delivers.
Yes.
There's a pile right over there.
Yes, there's a pile. So tomorrow morning, we're going to get started nice and early and put the DC to DC chargers on and install them in the system because we have one day to get this done for us. So I needed help.
Oh,
And
it'll
for-
be done in a day.
Yeah.
Oh,
And for
100%.
those of you that don't know much about solar, like me, because I didn't take the solar class, I supervised him taking the class and then our solar build on 2 different rigs. What that means is when we're driving and we're going from like one campsite to the next, we can have the air conditioners, both of them on. And when we get set up, it's going to be nice and cool, which is great, especially like, with children or with pets. Like
Right.
our daughter's an adult. She doesn't travel with us anymore, but our Rottweiler travels with us. And it's nice to be able to put her inside when it's nice and cool and not have to wait for it to cool down.
Yeah. And on a not so sunny day, basically we're going to be doubling our capacity based on what's coming off our truck and what's going off our roof because solar's not that efficient, but y'all know that.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for coming on and thank you for joining us on Working and
pleasure.
Wandering. We're always looking for ways to get the message out that you can live the RV life and still thrive. We really feel like that's what we want people to know. It's not necessarily about just surviving while on the road. We want people to be able to think about retirement, have a good faith-based living.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah, and being able to think outside the box and do something a little different, like what you're doing is very unique, and we love it. And
to be able to run your business plus still kind of follow your journey with God and be able to help people is just, it's awesome. And when we heard that, we're like, you got to do a podcast with us.
Yes,
You made it fun.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. It should be fun.
it should be.
All right.
All right. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Please follow their journey. And you should be able to message them if they're in the area.
We will link everything on our YouTube channel down in the description. And if you have any questions, hit us up at venturesomecouple.com. We will answer anything. We will get you in contact with them if you have any hard times following them. And if you really want to know how they did on the install, we'll let you know.
It'll be a future
Dun, dun,
video.
dun.
All right.
Other than that, thank you so much for watching and or listening, and
Enjoy every moment.